Hello everyone, I'm Ankit and you're watching StudyIQ IAS English channel. In our today's video, we are going to understand a very controversial topic. This is about feeding of stray dogs. Because one section of the society, they think that feeding of stray dogs is an act of compassion. Whereas some who are afraid of animals generally, they might see this as a threat to their public safety or even an act of menace. So what does the law, what does the constitution, what does the judiciary say about this issue? We'll try to understand in our today's discussion. Now the notes, if you want to download them, these notes will be available on a particular Telegram channel known as ATS Live. So to search this channel, open your Telegram app. On the top right hand corner, there's a search bar. Click on it and write ATS Live. You'll find the channel. Alternatively, you can also scan this QR code for the same. Find the channel, subscribe to it if you still haven't, and download the notes. Okay. Now let us discuss why are we discussing this issue. Now, Supreme Court was hearing a case that has been filed by a petitioner from Noida regarding the act of feeding of stray dogs. Now, in this case, the Supreme Court of India made a following observation. It stated that the citizens of India who want to feed these stray dogs, they can do so inside their own house, not in the common areas. Now, this bench of Supreme Court was hearing an appeal that was filed by a Noida resident who has been allegedly harassed when she was going to feed stray dogs in the common area in her society. Now, this act of feeding the stray dogs is a polarizing issue in the society, obviously. And this has led to instances of dog bites. This has led to instances of many legal problems and law and order problems. So that is why in our today's discussion, we'll take a legal aspect of it. Whether feeding of stray dogs in India, is it legal or illegal? Or under what circumstances should you opt for feeding of these animals, right? So that we are going to discuss in our today's discussion. Let me give you a brief background on this issue, what led to this particular Supreme Court case. Now, a woman in Noida, she lives in a society. So the president of that society, the president of particularly the Resident Welfare of Association, they actually broke some of the pots in which the petitioners used to keep water for the stray animals. And they did not stop at this. They also harassed the person for doing so and also killed some of the stray dogs in the area. Now, when she approached local authorities, they took no action against the people responsible for this act. Rather, the local authorities urged this woman not to keep pots in the future so as to eliminate the possibility of controversy. Now, this woman, she approached Allahabad High Court. But while considering this case, her petition was dismissed by the Allahabad High Court under the pretext that it goes against the interest of common man. So, what did the Allahabad High Court observe? Let's find out. Now, Allahabad High Court in this case was interpreting a particular rule that has been brought by Union government, that is ABC Rule 2023. We'll understand what ABC Rule talks about in great detail. Now, this rule has been brought by Union government under the Prevention of Cruelty Act 1960, and this rule seeks to control, on one hand, the control of stray dogs population by undertaking sterilization. And in addition to that, it also wants to curb the spread of diseases such as rabies by these stray animals by vaccinating them. So this rule, it lays down protocol how to feed stray dogs while ensuring two different opposite matters. It wants to ensure animal welfare while keeping public safety in mind. So this effectively deals with these two opposite aspects. It wants animal welfare to happen, but it shouldn't come at the cost of public safety. So let us understand how this rule balances them. But before that, let us understand what observation did the Allahabad High Court made. Now, Allahabad High Court interpreted this animal birth control rules of 2003, saying that this actually wants to protect street dogs. But while protecting the street dogs, the authority should also ensure that the interest of common man, the public safety of common man, shouldn't be threatened, so that the animals that you feed in the common areas, they don't end up biting the nearby or passerbys in the area, right? So this is what the Allahabad High Court said while dismissing the petition that was filed by the resident of Noida. In addition to that, we also need to understand what the ABC rules say about how to feed the animals. Now, this rule actually replaced a erstwhile rule known as Animal Birth Control Rules of 2001. And if you read this rule particularly, you'll notice that the word stray dogs is not used here, rather the word community animals has been used. Now this wording of community animals, it recognizes that there are some animals in the community who have grown up there and they are a part of local environment. They are not actually outsiders who do not belong to a particular owner. So actually the community are the ones who owns these animals, and therefore we shouldn't remove them from the area. So this is what the ABC rule feels by denominating the term community animals, right? Now, Supreme Court in the past have interpreted that these animals who live in community, they also have certain kind of fundamental rights. If you remember, Indian Constitution provide all people living in India with right to life and liberty under Article 21. So, Supreme Court in a 2014 judgment popularly known as Jallikattu case, Supreme Court held in this case that even animals, their life also fall within the purview of Article 21 of the Constitution. Similarly, Supreme Court also felt that there is a particular fundamental duties in Article 51A, particularly in subsection G. This article imposes a duty on Indian citizens that they should have compassion for all the living creatures, and here living creatures not just means humans, but it also means animals, right? So in that way, Supreme Court has interpreted that even animals have a right to life in India, and therefore their rights fall under Article 21. Similarly, fundamental duties on Indian citizens impose them certain obligation of having compassion for living creatures, which also includes animals, right? So this is how Supreme Court has interpreted animal rights. Now this means effectively that once dogs or any stray animals are present in your communities, it is actually a legal thing. Similarly, even some persons, if they want to feed them, it is actually not illegal, it is an legal act. If these people feed the stray dogs under certain guidelines which has been set by law, this is an legal act. And what is the law that has set the guidelines how you should feed these laws? That is the ABC rules of 2023, right? So this is what the Supreme Court feels, that having the presence of a stray animal in your community is not illegal. Similarly, feeding these stray animals is also not illegal if done within the confines of the law, that is the ABC rules of 2023. So now let us understand what these rules say about how you should feed the stray animals, right? Now this laws provides different instances on what you should do and what you should not do while feeding the stray animals. It says that this act of feeding should not occur in high footfall areas like entrances, playgrounds, or stairs, etc. Similarly, the RWA or local bodies, they must designate a particular clean area which has low disruption, and this is where the feeding act should happen. Similarly, this feeding act should happen at a particular fixed time frame and in a hygienic manner which is not against the interest of larger community. Similarly, this rules also says that in case of a dispute, it provides for a dispute redressal mechanism. In case of a dispute which happens due to an act of feeding of animals, it can be dealt by Chief Veterinary Officer of the area, the local police, District Society for Prevention of Cruelty of Animals, animal health organizations, as well as the representatives of resident welfare associations. And these rules actually provide that dogs, they indeed have the right to be fed, but this does not be done in a way that it disrupts the public safety or it disrupts the communal harmony. Therefore, this rule tries to strike a balance between animal welfare on one hand and public safety on another, right? So this is how it interprets both of these concerns and permits them equally. Now, there have been previous court orders by Supreme Court, by different high courts, which has dealt with this issue. Particularly, there was a case which was heard by Bombay High Court known as Sharmila Sarkar and others versus Union of India. Sorry, Sharmila Sankar. Now, in this judgment, the Bombay High Court, it ruled in the favor of residents who had faced opposition from their housing societies when they were going to feed dogs. And the court in this regard said that the RWAs and societies cannot restrict feeding of community animals or threaten the people who are actually feeding these animals. Hence, the court affirmed that the ABC rules have actually the force of law, and if you prevent these people from feeding the animals, it will actually violate the law of the land, right? So this is what the judiciary, this is what the constitution, this is what the rules say about feeding of animals, right? And please remember, this is a very controversial thing, and if you are actually feeding the animals, please ensure that it does not threaten the safety of other people who are living in the area, right? What do you feel about this issue? Please do let me know in the comment section, and please try to be very civil. We understand both of these people have legible concerns. Love of animals obviously is right, but it shouldn't happen at the cost of public harm, right? Now I have something that I wanted to say you, and after that I'll give you a practice question which is framed just as the PYQs of UPSC, right? Now, what about students who are looking to give exams next year? You only have about 10 months left, right? So to take admissions in one of our courses, what you need to do, go to our website and opt for resolution batch of 2026. You obviously will be provided with classes, mentorship and test series, but in addition to that, you're also provided with scholarship in our diamond batches. Suppose if you're a diamond batch student and if you clear your prelims next year, your entire course fees that you're paying us right now will be refunded back to you. In addition to that, we'll also help you in clearing prelims through prelims residential program, where 10% of the students, the top 10% ones, they'll be brought to Delhi and your every expenses will be taken care of by StudyIQ so that you are able to clear prelims, right? So these are the benefits that come with resolution batches. Do not forget to take the admission, but please remember, before making the payment, use the code ATS Live because it helps you save 7,000 rupees, and this code can be applied on not just this but any course on our website, right? So please remember it. Now, this is the practice question, which is very similar to the question that appeared on right to privacy. Animal life has been held to be protected as a part of right to life and personal liberty. Which one of the following in the Constitution of India correctly and appropriately implies the above statement? Do let me know the correct answers in the comment section. The ones who answer it correctly, you'll get a thumbs up from my side. You can screenshot this question if you have any problems in reading it, right? And once again, the notes, these will be available on the Telegram channel ATS Live. So go subscribe and download the notes, right? So we'll see each other again. Please have a very good day.